Good morning. Good morning, 5-minute traders. And want to talk today a little bit about the euro. The euro has been on a heck of a run, and want to start with. I want to start kind of bottom up, or from the shortest time frames up. And here we are looking at kind of the last couple of weeks. This is basically right now as we're trading 149.25, and we did spike off the U.S. Information here today, the CPI, up to 150.85. One thing that I'd like to say here is that the euro has really been one of the top performing asset classes for the year. And why do I say that? Well, if you come back to the beginning of the year here, you're going to see that coming back to the, let me just bring up a daily chart. Coming back to the beginning of the year, we touched down to about a 103, and we're sitting at about 115 right now. So that would appear to the layperson to be very bullish. But one of the things that I want to talk about today is this is why you always have to really get some decent context. And we've had a heck of a run in the euro, but one of the things that I will say is that in context, here's the run from the low of 103 and change, as I mentioned, all the way up here to 114. That's a very, very good and parabolic move. You can see the straight up factor of it. What we've done is we've really come back to where we were. So I wanted to point out a couple points. This spike here was the Trump election night that set the high until we made that low down here in late December, and then really tested it in the early part of the year. However, one of the things, and I did a chart on this earlier in the week, and I just want to bring that up. One of the things that I see here, and this is a daily chart just pulled back on a little bit broader scope. The euro is really is stuck. And what do I mean stuck? Well, since we entered this zone back in early 2015, when we broke down through this, basically, let's call it 117 area, we've just been trading around. We've had pushes down, up, back to the top, back down, back to the top, back to this new low. So we've made a new low, right? So we're making 1, 2 new lows here, and then we're kind of coming back into the top of the value zone. Now we're at an area that if we break out above here, if we break out above this 117, 118, then we definitely can go up to 122, 125. So just keep this in mind that you want to keep playing it within this. But if we the way I look at something like this is not that bullish until we get over here, and then that's going to be short-lived also, and up to 122, 125 possible until you start running into the bigger resistance above. So point of control here on the daily chart going back and this is about 10 years, is really getting you right to the top here. So again, this last three and a half years of trade here is really the range and the context you should familiarize yourself with when it comes to the euro. Now, there's a couple trades. You can fade the top, as we are trying to do up here, kind of this 115 up to 117 area, build scale, and then keep trading it. And we did that earlier in the week, and that paid off very nicely. We were selling the euro 152, 153, and it came all the way back down to 143. So you had about 100 pips this week. And basically, the way I'm looking at it is anytime we get up into these kind of ranges, into these lofty areas, I'm hitting it, I'm selling it until proven wrong, until we close on a Friday particularly. Why a Friday? The day close is more important than any price for me. The way I look at the markets is more important than any price during intraday. So the close is most important, and then the day close, and then the week close trumps the day close, and then the quarterly close, or rather the monthly close trumps the week close, and the quarterly close trumps the weekly or the monthly close. So, and then yearly, etc. So it has to do with the time frame. So you want to be looking at that. It's really important to not be shaken out just because you get spikes in the middle of the day. Now, this does mean that you could get a worse stop in some situations, but this is why I use closing prices as a rule, and I don't get shaken out until usually ends of day if things haven't changed. So I wait for end of day, end of month, And when it comes to the euro, I want to continue to sell until it closes over 117, 118 on a weekly and definitely a monthly close. Those would get me like, oh, this is for real. So until that happens, I'm going to continue the course here. But that's our game plan. You've got a point of control back here at 114.50 still even today on a couple week chart. So it's getting very spiky. I think there's no way the euro is going to continue this run. However, we can get over that 118. We can bump up a little bit more just to get people more brazen. And then that becomes the trap game. Where can we trap the most people is always the game. On which time frames. You want to look at the longer time frames. That's the bigger money. That is where you're going to get the best picture. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys today about in the euro. Have a great weekend. Be careful out there, and we'll see you next week at the 5-Minute Trader. If you have any questions, just drop us a line, Matt at OneMinuteTrader.TV.